Hey everybody, it's Peggy. I'm back again with another video. I'm just chatting and hanging out while I get some work done. I gotta get some work done. So what I've got going on right now is I've got that. I've got a big pile of bags that I'm working on. I am using I'm not using any particular method. I'm using an assembly line method. I'll get you guys down here. You guys can watch. Anyway, all I'm doing is I do this in steps. And the first step that I did was obviously cutting and ironing all my fabrics. I don't pre-wash because these are drawstring bags that I'm making. It's not necessary. So cutting and I don't pre-wash any of my stuff because all of my stuff is washable, but won't be negatively affected by any potential shrinkage. Wash in cold water, and you'll have less of. Wash in cold water and either tumble dry at your lowest setting, or hang it up to dry, or lay it flat to dry, and you'll have no problems. Anyway, so basically, I'm getting all this done. I got all my yeah, you can see that right here. I got my. Oh, maybe you can't. I don't know. I have this little like 2-inch. You've seen the preview cameras that come on the little preview screens that come on a basic camera. So my cell phone screen is bigger. So anyway, I do these in steps. I do one, then the next, then the next. I do each step at a time because I save a little bit of time per step. So I save a little bit of time per step by just setting everything up, doing one step at a time. This is kind of what gets in the way of me being able to do custom work, because if I were to take on a custom project, I'd have to put all of this away, get out what the other custom project is, work on that, then get it all back out again. The amount of time you save in an assembly line process is amazing. I will say, if anybody's because there's certain steps that don't change. It doesn't matter what color this is. That was a green, this is a gray. It doesn't matter. This part is the exact same step. Get your backing ready. Get your broadcloth ready, your backing ready. Mark it. It's all the same for all of these, unless I'm using a really light color and need to use my white broadcloth. Then this is the exact same step for all darker fabrics. Sew it on. I always just sew it on with black. The lining is black, so sewing it on with black just makes the most sense, because then you don't have. If you sew it on with a lighter color, then when you do happen to see the inside of the bag, you see a very, very bright streak going down it. Anyway. When the bag is done, the black is not visible. It doesn't show because of the way the bag finishes, at least for this design. Anyway. So I am assembly lining it, and I realize that there's some. It's like, well, I can't do a video because. And I just realized I can so do a video because I've picked out what I'm going to do for the next project. We beat half square triangles to death, which is necessary. Half square triangles are fundamental to quilting. Sorry, you guys are watching me work on stuff for my shop, and I'm actually talking about quilting today. Half square triangles are fundamental to quilting. If you look up any quilting video at all, even the most complicated designs relies on half square triangles and other effects that use triangles, or use, let me just get this out, or use effects where you have points that need to meet all in the same spot, stuff like that. So mastering the half square triangle is not difficult. It's not difficult at all. Mastering getting those points as perfect as possible. Look at that. I did a full video on this, and it's still not perfect. Practice is going to fix that. Practice will fit that. I sorted out everything that I needed to do, and now I just need to practice. Practice makes perfect, right? So with that in mind, it's like I was thinking about it, and it's like, well, I want to move on to another quilt design. I'm going to practice my half square triangles and getting my perfect points. That's a pinwheel, by the way, the orange and gray over there. That's called a pinwheel. I'm going to master I'm obviously going to get better as time goes on. I do have plans to sell stuff using the pinwheel design in the shop. I'm just I'm not in a rush, because I want it to be a little bit better than that one was. It's okay if they're not 100% perfect. I'm not entering a contest. I'm trying to make functional products, right? Quilts. quilts, and if I can get happy enough with it, or maybe even just processing my scrap and doing a few up just because I can for giveaways. I like giving away stuff. And I have a business. It's a tax write-off for me when I do give away stuff. So it's never going to hurt me to be generous. It doesn't hurt me to be generous in the first place, but when you have a trade-off, it makes it even more appealing to be generous. Did I say that right? I don't even know if I said that right. Anyway, so this is processing day. So I thought today would be a good day just to say, hey, how you doing? Everything's fine, yada, yada, yada. We've had some interesting stuff going on at the Pepez household that I thought I'd catch you guys up on. I talked Lisa into having a 1-week vacation from her YouTube channel. For those who don't know, ideally I will have been smart enough by now to link her channel in the comments, and if not, it's Lisa Pepez. And if you need a link and I was not smart enough, don't forget I gotta take this. I gotta take the video, move it over onto my computer, process it, edit it, process it, upload it, schedule it, do all the things. It's not hard. It's not a hard process, but there's just lots of steps along the way where I could just end up forgetting to add links and stuff that I've promised. Which is something, if I've ever promised, I'll share the link, blah, 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 blah. If you've ever seen that in a video of mine and you don't see the link, absolutely shoot me a comment. I'm happy to come back, either respond directly to you with the link or add the link. Yeah, I can edit it. Once a video is up, I can still go back and edit the description and stuff like that, so that if I've forgotten to do something, I can get you what you need. But I digress. So Lisa took a week off from her channel because she hadn't taken any serious time off from her channel since she started it almost 5 years ago. So it was like, yeah, you've never done that. We were actually we actually kind of figured this out. We were doing a self-care chat, Self-Worth Saturday chat for members on her channel. So yeah, so that happened. So then she immediately got a summer cold. Apparently, if you give Lisa time off, she gets sick. It just makes her ill. Time off makes her ill. She's never getting another day off again. But anyway, so then she got a summer cold, and she's fine now. It wasn't bad. It wasn't. I had it too, but I only had it for a couple of days. I got really lucky. So she was just a little, runny nose, and you can't film a video if you got a runny nose because it just doesn't look good for some strange reason to be sniffing and snarfing on camera. But anyway, so she took care of a whole bunch of editing and stuff, but she didn't get much in the way of filming done. So she basically ended up with another week off, and of course I wanted to take care of her, so I wasn't working as much either to make sure that I was available for her. So I got behind. These tarot bags were supposed to have been in the shop almost a week ago now. So yeah, I got behind. I got behind for a reason though. Sorry, not sorry. You got to take care of your family, right? Anyway, but we took advantage of the time off to sort out a few things. So what I've got going on, I don't know what to share with you first. Don't worry, it's not as bad as it sounds. So basically, I'm semi-retired. Just sitting around the house all day. I'm also somewhat disabled. I can't do this for 8 hours a day. I will wreck myself up. I got a messed up leg. And basically, too much standing and my leg starts to hurt. Too much sitting and my hip starts to hurt. So I can work the funny thing is, I can work part-time 7 days a week, but I can't sit down for a 10, 12-hour binge. You know what I mean? I can't work as much as I'd like. Now, I work as much as I want, and I'm very happy with the amount of work that I get done. So that part's fine. But anyway, so I have a lot of free time. And so I've been doing this. I also have a second channel called Etsy Rants. For anybody who has or is thinking about running an Etsy shop. And mostly it's just me mouthing off. It is. It's just mostly me mouthing off about Etsy stuff. I actually am a big Etsy fan. So I'm mouthing off. I'm mouthing off in the please stop hating on Etsy people. Because that makes me a little nuts. But that's a rant I could get onto at any time. So maybe I'll do that rant. Maybe I'll just end up doing that rant today. I don't know, but anyway. So I have a channel called Etsy Rants that's just breaks down Etsy related stuff into hopefully bite-sized chunks for people to have a better understanding of how Etsy in particular works and online selling in general works. Because I know a lot of people are always talking about this sort of stuff. But anyway, so I've got that. But I also did a thing. And I started it 3 weeks ago. Anyway, one thing I was doing on Lisa's channel, and there's still a few going up on her channel, I believe. I'm not sure how many. One of the things I've been doing on Lisa's channel is doing a Friday reading. Reading, for the week ahead, weekend going into the week ahead. And I also a couple of times went on her channel doing live readings. And I really, really enjoyed it. But it's not my channel, it's my wife's channel. So I started my own. So now I've got 3 channels. I've got this channel. I've got this channel. I've got my Etsy channel. My Etsy channel is a baby channel. It's got like less than 200 subscribers, and that's fine. I feel like I have information to share where Etsy is concerned because I've been doing it for a while. So I just put it there for anybody who happens to be interested. So I'm starting another channel. I've got a few videos up right now, and it's called Peggy Does Tarot. So on that channel, I've got a few single card things up right now. Just card of the day type stuff. Just to get into the habit and see what I think of it, see what I think about doing readings. Anyway, so the idea of this channel is to have daily draws, pick a cards, those type of readings. When I try and make sure that I get at least 2 or 3 videos a week. I think 2 or 3 videos a week without the stuttering. That would be fun. With or without using guidebooks, I have a feeling that I'm probably going to default to using guidebooks more often than not because I like using the guidebooks. I do the guidebooks. Anyway, the other thing, I like using the guidebooks. The stuff that I've got up right now is without guidebooks, which was fine. I had a little cheat sheet handy. I'm not going to lie. Had a little cheat sheet handy, but I felt a lot more comfortable using. I always feel more comfortable using guidebooks, even when I don't need them. Even when I get cards, even when I pull a card that I know inside and out, I'm still like, well, I want to be able to refer to the guidebook, because when it comes to tarot, and for those of you who are not into tarot, sorry, but I am, and that's just where it's just something else that I do. Anyway, the way that works for me, you might get, you get the Tower. Things are changing and there's nothing you can do to stop it, yada, 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 right? Okay, that's fine. But then when you get the next card, Tower, 10 of Cups. Oh, okay, things are changing and you can't do anything about it, but it's going to be bringing you into this absolutely perfect place where you are just going to be ecstatically happy. Okay. But the nuances of how each individual deck is created, that's why every single deck comes with its own guidebook, because it reflects the nuances of the person who created it, the nuanced meanings implied. So I like to double check on that. But what if you get, I don't know, okay, that was a really obvious example that doesn't have a lot of, but when you're doing a reading of more than one card, the cards have to mesh. So meshing the cards together, that's where the guidebooks come in. Even if you already know the meaning, reading the entries in the guidebooks can, unless it's like a really, really basic little white book, and even then sometimes the meanings are really, really interesting. But getting the nuanced information from the creator's perspective can give you the nuanced information that might go along with how to connect those two together. Like, how does the Tower suddenly become the 10 of Cups? Like I said, the Tower is all about things are changing and there's nothing you can do about it. The 10 of Cups is like everything's wonderful. Look, the 10 of Cups is a rainbow. There's a rainbow there. It's like everything all at once. It's great. It's awesome. But how does that happen? Where's the nuance? Where's the transition, right? So that's where the guidebooks come in. That's why the guidebooks get written, and that's why there's so many of them. Each different deck creator or book, like Lisa's working on a book. Lisa's working on a deck, and that deck is going to have its own book, but she's also working on a book, and that book is going to have a slightly different nuanced feel to it, right? So I think that's a very, 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 very long-winded explanation to explain why I'm pretty sure. God, I just went to a big circle. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that even the daily draws and stuff like that, I think I am going to start. I think I am going to start doing them with the books because I want to be comfortable. I want to be comfortable, and a lot of people like watching videos like that because it helps them get a taste of different styles and techniques. And because you know what? It's my practice and I can do it any way I want. It's really that simple. It's funny, tarot has basic rules, cards have basic meanings, yada, 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 but how you do it is literally up to you. Anyway, so the main point of this is that one of the things I'm going to start, one of the things I've already done it a couple times, but obviously as a brand new baby channel, nobody's showing up, and that is doing live readings. So, anybody who's seen me do a live reading on Lisa's channel, I will be doing it the exact same way. If at some point I get enough traction that I can monetize, I'll probably turn that stuff on. But I will never, ever, ever require you to pay to get your reading or pay to get at the front of the line or stuff like that. At least that's the idea. And obviously, if you want to leave a tip, leave a tip. I don't care. It's not required. This is for something for me to do. This is for something for me to do, a way for me to learn. I'm always complaining that I'm a forever noob. So this is a way for me to learn tarot in a way that's one of my beliefs. Okay, not my beliefs. One of doing readings for yourself. If I get a reading for myself and I go, okay, reading for myself, and it's like the death card, change is inevitable, right? And I know we're moving. We're not moving, but let's say that that's what's going on, right? If I get a particular card, I can go, oh, well, this is already going on in my life, so blah, 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 blah. Now, how do I get the further nuance? When you do a reading for somebody else and you get the death card, which is basically about change. Change is inevitable. Nothing, change is inevitable. Prepare for it. Do this, do that. Don't let your bad habits hold you back. That sort of thing, right? When you get that kind of a card for another person, and when you're reading for another person, it's all intuiting what's going on with somebody, even though you don't know the whole story. And you're not going to get that. You're not going to get that same thing when you're doing readings for just yourself. And there's nothing wrong with doing readings for just yourself. There really isn't. Only look at my situation right now. It's pretty basic. I work from home, and I sew. And I'm my own boss. If I don't want to work today, I don't have to work today. If I want to work tomorrow, I can work tomorrow. If I want to stay up until midnight, and if I'm like, oh, I'm going to get a couple things done before I go to bed. So basically, my days can look pretty samey. If I get the tower, like, when I get the tower, it's like, oh, Lisa has a cold, right? If I'd have gotten the tower last week, it would have been like, yeah, well, of course, I'm not getting much done because Lisa has a cold. Because don't forget, the scale of your life, I don't know what to call it, right? The scale of what's going on around you can affect the severity of the actual card. So for me, I don't have a lot going on. So when I'm drawing cards, I either get the same card all the time because there's not a lot going on, or when a new card shows up, it's like what's going on is so small scale. I guess that's the best way to call it. Anyway. This is what got the conversation started, okay? This is where the conversation got started of, well, I can't take over Lisa's channel all the time. We like doing the Friday reading, don't get me wrong. And I really had a lot of fun going on her channel doing live readings, which is why I want to do live readings on my own channel. Because I can't just be on her. Her channel is her channel. There was no argument. This was all, this is just something that we realized is like, yeah, that doesn't make a lot of sense. What if I'm having a really good week and I want to be on 3 days a week doing live readings? Well, I can't do it on her channel. I got to do it on my own. So that's what's going on. I'm just over-explaining it because I've got a captive audience. I've got the camera on, and I'm not doing much else besides just cutting. Me chatting about basic shit is something that I can do while I'm doing this because I'm not gonna screw things up when I already can do these bags in my sleep, and all I'm doing. By the way, all I'm doing by the way, is I'm putting my 1/4 inch line right there, the very first line, right on top of my thread, the thread line where my sewing line was, and I'm just cutting in I'm just cutting off and leaving behind a 1/4 inch seam all the way around. For anybody who's like, what is she doing? Yeah, I'm just trimming and flipping this. What I'm doing. This is the assembly. Yeah, I think I might be almost ready for this. This is a really good cutting mat. It's a good cutting mat, but it's not nearly as good as my big one back there. But this one's really convenient because it lets me sit right by the sewing machine. So what I'm doing is I think I may have already said this 20 minutes ago when I first started babbling. I'm just going to get all this prepped. Then I'll sort it by color. Then I will just put each color. And yeah, that's why I have, where'd it go? That's why I have a great big giant bag of clips, because once I'm ready to fold this stuff over, I'll fold over 10 or 20 at a time, just run them through the machine all at once. However many, like if I've got 10 or 20 black here, this is black. So yeah, I've got a whole bunch of black coming up, right? So anyway, so that's what's coming on. That's what's going on with me. I started another channel. It's just a baby channel called Peggy Does Tarot. It's going to be pretty obvious to know that you've got the right channel because Lisa helped me do the graphics, and there's the same dragon. I think it's the same dragon that we use for the channel takeover images. So you'll see that. I'm still going to be showing up on Lisa's channel sometimes, of course, because that's just what I do. But I think Lisa's. I knew I missed one. I think Lisa's making an announcement on her channel as well, just to let people know that if they've been enjoying the readings and live readings, just to follow me over there. But that's okay. It's just for fun. If it ends up growing, that's great. If it ends up not growing, that's great. I just want to practice tarot. I want to get more practice in my practice. That's really what this is all about. That's kind of what I realized. It's like, that was a lot of fun doing them, blah, 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 blah. But I'm going to either be using decks with keywords or hauling out the books. I am not going to ask for any money. It's going to be it's going to be the exact same way I was doing it on Lisa's channel. We are also starting yet another channel. Okay. So this one here, that's the reason why I stopped and started the camera again. It's like, wait a second, I'm not even close to done yet. This is going to be going on for a while. So what else is happening? So I'm going to be doing tarot readings, daily draws. I'm going to try and do the fun stuff. Don't forget, I'm semi-retired. I can literally sit down here. It's like, well, I don't really want to do any more sewing because, my hand, tennis elbow, blah, 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 blah. It's like, well, today's not a sewing day. What do I want to do today? Well, now I have more to do and I can practice my tarot. So anyway, follow me over there if that's what you're interested in. Well, most of you guys are tarot people. Follow me over there. Just get over there. I'm going to try and remember to link it in the comments. There's also a tab. I think I've got it. YouTube is weird. They release some things at some time, different things at different times for different channels, but I'm pretty sure I've got that tab that lets you go see what channels that I like, so whatever, and so they're all going to be down there too in the next few days. Anyway. So the other thing is, Lisa and I are going to be starting yet another channel, and it is, I think Lisa just showed me the graphic today. I told her to make the final, you make the final decision on what to call it, right? And I think it's Lisa and Peggy Unleashed. Now that used to be, we used to have that named Peggy and Lisa and Peggy Vlogs. So what we're going to do is we're going to do it podcast style, pick a topic, do a thing, do whatever, because we're always joking around. We're always joking around or chatting about things or whatever. And one of the running jokes is, oh my God, we should be filming this. Oh my God, we should be filming this. Oh my God, we should be filming this. So we decided that now one of the things that have been keeping us from doing it is that I didn't have any experience with doing the editing and stuff like that, right? Well, now I do. Now I have editing experience. So now it's like, well, wait a second. If I do the editing and stuff, if I do the editing and take care of that part of everything, so that once the channel's set up, we're going to do it podcast style. As a matter of fact, I think Lisa set it all up so that it shows up. I'm not sure what Lisa set up. We're going to be doing it podcast style, and I may even mess around with iTunes and Spotify and whatever and move it over there as well. But we haven't decided for sure how that's going to look yet. Anyway, we're going to do it podcast style because we're always sharing little stories. Whenever we do happen to be live for shenanigans and our shenanigans on her channel, I believe, is not stopping. I think we're still doing that, so don't worry there. But people are like, oh, we need to see more of that. We need to see more of that and stuff like that. And it's like, but it's a tarot channel, so it's one of those things. Tarot is Lisa's passion, and we really don't want to, I guess, dilute it. This is why. Okay, that's like for me. I put the Etsy stuff on a different channel, even though like the Etsy stuff is never going to get all that big or anything like that. That's not the goal. Like I said, I'm semi-retired, and I can just sit around and I can sit around talking to a camera all day long and it's not affecting anything because I'm semi-retired and I'm home most of the time. Anyway, so we realized that in order to do more of that and put it on the internet, it really should be on its own channel because it will really, really have a negative effect. I don't know. Like I said, if half of my content was talking about Etsy, I'm sure that it would have a certain amount of annoyance for you guys after a while if Etsy is not something that you're interested in. So it's the same idea. It's like, well, if you're watching Lisa's content primarily for the tarot, then switching it up to half and half is going to be far less enjoyable for everybody. And so the people who want more can go over to the I guess we're going to be calling it a podcast. It's on YouTube. It's a YouTube channel, Peggy and Lisa Unleashed. Lisa and Peggy Unleashed. You got to get it in the right order. You'll find it. Just Lisa and Peggy. It pops right up. It's like it's there. Anyway, and I'll link it. I will do my best to remember to link everything that I've said. I'm going to link. Anyway, so we're going to be doing that, and that's kind of going to be me doing most of that. Not most of it, making sure that the camera is set up, making sure that the videos get moved over so that they can be posted online. The background work that can, and because Lisa does not have the bandwidth for the background work, but she always has bandwidth for a little conversation, right? So that's the idea. We're not making any promises with that channel just yet because we want to see how it goes. We want to see how it goes, how it flows, and how things work. So that'll be fine. And we will go from there. So I think that's it. I think that's the really obvious big thing of what we're doing, of what's happening from a channel perspective. All the channels, all the time. As a matter of fact, after this is done, I got to make a couple of Etsy videos. I'm almost done here, so I'm almost ready to start turning these, and I still need to make at least one Etsy video, which the Etsy stuff, if I have to work while I'm doing an Etsy video, I don't care. It's a baby channel, and it's not going to... Okay, I'll be surprised if it grows into a bigger channel, but it's probably not. It's probably not, and that's fine because that's not something I'm worried about for that channel. I feel... It's like Lisa with her tarot. She started her channel because she started a channel because she was really into tarot. I'm really into Etsy. Obviously, it's working for me. Etsy is my friend. Etsy makes me money. So anyway, oh, that one's a little far. What's going on? I'll have to. If you are flipping a bag, I don't know what happened here, but this one's got a really, really wide opening. If you are flipping a bag and you end up with, because the thread must have pulled out or something. Okay. If you're flipping a bag and you're opening, if you're making a bag and you're flipping the bag and it ends up really, really opening up, if you trust yourself, you can put in a couple of clips to hold it down, or just give it a quick, just fold it into place, get it exactly the way you want it, clip it, pin it, do whatever, and just give it a quick zap with the iron to hold it in place. Because when the opening spreads like this, I don't know what happened. Probably the thread broke, the stitch popped, or whatever. When it comes out way too wide like this, just don't freak out. But if your opening is too big and you're concerned it's not going to stay where you want it to stay, just go ahead and give it a quick blast with the iron, lots of steam, and then it'll kind of hold it for you so that it's not going to it's way less likely to shift. I don't iron them because I've been doing this for mostly habit. I've been doing this for so long now that I just have the hand-eye coordination I need. When I first started making these, I sewed every single opening, every single one. I mean, not sewed, ironed. I ironed them all to make sure that they were going where I want them to and that they weren't going to slip. So don't think you're doing something wrong if you end up ironing all of your openings all the time. But yeah, if you're planning a bunch of bags, do this step. Get this far at least as one step. That you'll save yourself some time. Unless you are, if you're using different colors, obviously, then you're going to want to do each section according to what your lining color is going to be. Like if I had yellow, blue, green, if I had color coordinated lining instead of using all black, then I would do the black, the green, the yellow, the blue. I would do them all together because this thread, the thread for your basting needs to match whatever thread your broadcloth is, because of the way the pattern goes together. But anyway, I'm going to get going because I've been talking. I'm enjoying hearing my voice a little too much, so it's time for me to take a break from that and get back to this because I've only got this one and one more to do. And then I get to start pinning this stuff all together, and then I get to start sewing it all together. So I'm going to get going, and I am going to see you guys on the next one. Bye.